Welcome everyone to today's topic. So today we are going to talk about a new digitalization technology, which is also aware about like robotic process automation, which is a new era of digitalization. Now, before we get into this robotic process automation, let's understand what is exactly automation and how exactly automation started. So the history of automation started a long back in 1947 when Ford Automotives has launched their automation department. That department used to focus on a chain belt process because earlier it was manual to move the engines from one department to other department. So they have created a chain belt process. Later on, the automation effect has been percolated in various industries. This was the initial industrial automation which has started. Later on, there are different types of automation which we are currently regularly using. For example, the home automation, which we are regularly using, that is handling the security of our home, setting up few different climate controls for our home, even the lightings. That is something which is a regular usage of technology of home automation, which we do. Apart from this, in a computer industry also, we do use of automation, which is specifically known as test automation. So let's understand exactly that what are the different types of automation which are there. So there are majority three types of automation which is there, which is fixed, flexible, and programmable. So fixed automation is basically focusing on the sequence of operation which is governed by a specific system. So the automation which is performed by a tester, which we know it as test automation, is specifically falling under this criteria, which is a fixed set of automation which is performed on a specific web application for a specific user journey. When we talk about programmable automation, so programmable automation is again a similar concept like our fixed automation. Nowadays, testers are writing different types of framework, which is flexible to moving to a different types of web application. That is also again falling into the criteria of test automation. When we talk about flexible automation, there is a need of flexible automation, whereby we say that a particular test automation tool is very limited to a specific scope of automation. So we need to achieve automation whereby we can connect to different types of tools and we can perform an integration automation. So when you talk about this term, there is a different type of automation, which is flexible automation, which comes in picture. Flexible automation has a ability to produce variety of sequence once it is recorded on that application. So let's understand why we should use RPA, because today's topic is going to focus on RPA, not on test automation. So RPA is basically going to help you for automating your business processes. Now, what is the difference between business process and test automation? We will be looking at in few slides ahead. So RPA can basically help you to avoid your repetitive tasks. It can help you to automate your business processes, which is falling under different types of categories like semi-automated, fully automated, or manual, or whatever. So in a nutshell, RPA is something like robotic, which is a capability to mimic human actions. Process is a sequence of steps which you follow in your business. Now, one particular business has different set of processes which is there, which is like HR, accounting, and etc. And automation. So automation, any specific human action which is executed without a human intervention, it's automation. So it can be executed using a tool. It can be executed using a specific set of code. That is called as automation. So in a nutshell, if you want to understand on a high level what is RPA, then RPA is basically going to give you a kind of entry gate to automate your human action, mimic your human action, and run it automatically without any human intervention. So moving forward, let's understand exactly what all RPA can help you with. So RPA can basically help you with capturing data, integration with other system, triggering responses. Then it can help you to transmit a specific set of input into an output. RPA can also recognize a specific type of text and perform action on it. So RPA technologies can enable a specific computer software to emulate and integrate a user action. That is the actual definition of RPA. And the software which is going to be executed and which is going to be developed using RPA is going to be called as robot. So at the end of the day, the executable which you will be using will be the robot. Now, what exactly RPA can help you with is something which is, you have a lot of repetitive tasks, clerical jobs, which is there in your organization and you wanted it to be automated. That is something which RPA can help you with. So before we start with what are the repetitive tasks and how are the business processes are defined, let's understand a short story of work.
This is the story of work. It started a long time ago, on a Monday, which was handy. For as long as history itself, the humans needed to work. They wanted to work, to grow things and create things and build things, to see what they were capable of, to stand at day's end and say, I did that, which felt pretty good. So they worked more, built more, and created more, and traveled to far-off places. And then someone suggested submitting expense reports for those far-off places. His name was Glenn, and he was a jackass. Anyway, the people kept getting better at work. They built better tools to work more efficiently. They built amazing machines to work faster. They built computers to work smarter. But still, they couldn't do enough work. Because during all that work to do more work, they had created work, and not the good kind. Not the, let's sit around and come up with ideas kind. Not the, I can't wait to get to work so I can jump into a new project kind. The crap kind. The drudge and data and admin and the damned expense reports. So the humans had to work more at work they didn't like. That made them robotic. That didn't inspire. They had to postpone vacations. They had to miss family dinners. They were pissed. And then something happened. Someone had a really amazing idea. They came into work and said, stop working and start working. The humans thought she might have had wine at lunch, so she showed them a way to put the fun back into work, to waste less time doing the things they hated, to make more efficient the big tasks, to stop making the humans act like robots and start teaching the robots to learn the humans. Not to replace people, but to free them. Even Glenn. Robots that learn you. Imagine the potential, like starting over, to help us remember again that work only really works when we're happy at it.
Yes, so the buzz is real. The digitalization transformation has begun and it is rapidly changing the way we work. So it's time to reboot the work and use as much as RPA systems as we can. Now, as I have mentioned a few slides back, that there is something called as traditional automation tools and there's something called as RPA. So what is the difference between these tools? So as a developer, you might be aware that your testers are using Selenium and many other tools. So whatever tools you are seeing on the above category, those are some of the tools which is used on the UI automation level or probably on the API automation level in computer industry. So, you know, Selenium, Tosca, Ranorex, and probably Test Plant. These are the most famous tools which we generally use. And the one which is shown in the below category is the top leader tools in RPA technologies, which is UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism. These are the currently top leaders. And this has a difference than your traditional test automation tool. Now, what is the difference? Let's understand that. So the difference between your test automation and RPA automation is your test automation specifically focuses on the user journey and the system configuration. So your developer or your organization may have developed a specific kind of system on which you are performing automation. That is your test automation. And in RPA, you're going to focus on the process. So you're going to automate the entire process, not only the user journey. So you may need to access multiple tools. You may need to gather multiple inputs. You may need to assert the output. So these all things can happen in RPA. Certainly for test automation, you will require knowledge of coding. You will need to write a framework. So you need a knowledge of coding. For RPA, you don't need to have knowledge of coding because they have a predefined templates. You can use those templates and customize it as per your business flow. So there are many templates which are there on the marketplace, which you can directly get it into your tool and use it. Of course, one more point to be mentioned. For test automation, you will find lot many tools which are in open source category. For RPA, you need to get the license. You need to buy the license. Initially, you will get license for 45 days, which is an academy license. And later on, you need to renew your license. The most importance is, so the goal of test automation is to automate a specific user journeys. And for RPA, it is for specific business processes, which are highly repetitive. Now let's understand how do you define which particular process has to be automated in your organization. So the best process targets will be the processes which are highly manual, repetitive, rule-based, the process which requires a kind of low exception rate, and the processes which has standard readable electronic input. So those processes are specific candidates for automation. Now, this is a bit technical, so let's understand a small example about it. So this is one of the as-is diagram about business process. So whereby a consumer is basically finding a commodity and ordering it through a purchase order that will be received by a shopping site, and shopping site will check if the stock is there, the notice will be sent. If the stock is not there, stock out notice will be sent. So this is a kind of normal business process flow, which is generally followed probably in e-commerce, but as per the different domains as we work in, we might have a different flow. So this is one of the example. Now, as I mentioned about business process, let's first come to a basic topic about what is process and what is the difference between process and procedure, because I'll be talking about procedure as well. So the difference between the process and procedure is, process is basically going to guide you about how you need to conduct the activity, and procedure is going to guide you about what you need to conduct in an activity. So whenever you need to apply for a specific citizenship of any country, you need to follow the rules which are governed by Department of Home Affairs of that country. That is a kind of process. And how you need to achieve your license of work, how you need to achieve your probably your degree certificates and other thing, that is a procedure. So this is a basic difference between process and procedure. So as we have understood that there is a difference between process and procedure, let's understand what are the key benefits of RPA. If you are using RPA in-house, implementing it within your organization, then what you will get. So RPA is completely non-invasive. So it can help you with data analytics, data creation. Once the RPA is automated, it will start understanding the transaction and it can act on its own. So that is one of the most important benefit. Apart from this, it is efficient as it is mimicking human action. So it has 100% accuracy more than the human. And of course, the productivity will be high. You can anytime scale up and scale down this type of robots. There is no compulsion that you should have one robot or multiple robots. You can have as many as robot as your processes are concerned. You can anytime scale up, scale down. The features which these tools are delivering, it has a cloud feature. So you don't need a specific environment. It can run on cloud. It can generate a specific reports for your audit. So how many robots executed, what has happened, what action has been taken, and what type of user response we got. As well as this is specially for non-IT stakeholder. So even a non-IT stakeholder can use these robots because they have a specific templates and you can record and play back in these tools. And to be in detail to talk about this is it is basically going to automate the user workflows and the user actions. It can mimic your action and it can free you from your regular clerical work, and humans can do what they're best at, which is innovation. So as I talk about innovation, let's understand a small story of innovation.
So I say the word innovation and you immediately think, the pulley. Wait, what? Stay with me. Let's go back to around 25 BC. Archimedes of Syracuse. Major big brain dude. He had this incredible idea. Here's how his buddy Plutarch reported it. He said Archimedes moved an entire warship using pulleys and his own strength. That is innovation. Not 2.0 or an upgrade or the next generation, but something that changes the way we think and work and live. the heralded breakthroughs have more often than not merely walked to the edge of innovation. The cloud and AI and low code. Complex problems can only be solved by solutions that don't cause more problems. So what would Archimedes do today? He'd build a pulley and call it robotic process automation. Make the tech learn the human, name the task, name the workplace. RPA allows companies to automate at the UI level, connecting disparate technologies. Granted, that's a really wonky sentence. All it means is this: you and your employees can now pull vastly more than your own weight.
Yeah, so it's time to reboot the work. As it is mentioned in the video, it can help you to automate your particular business process on the UI level. Now, let's understand the true value of RPA, like how the relation will be with the human beings and robot. Because as I mentioned that it can mimic human action and it can ease your work every day. So basically, robot has 100% accuracy. So robot can be executed with the specific tedious tasks, clerical jobs which are there in your background. And human can basically focus on the high value targets, which is like business meetings, strategic planning, and other thing, and they can make themselves free from the repetitive task, and they can focus on the other tasks which are high value tasks. So again, so many people feel that whenever robotics will be coming in picture, then that will be a kind of sign of job cuts, and as well as that will impact the industry. So in a nutshell, I feel that there are two types of robots which you can develop, that is attended and non-attended. So some of the attended robots require some type of human intervention. So these all robots works on a specific AI ML model. They have their own decision-making criteria. But whenever they find a specific new transaction, they may not make the decision. So those robots falling under the attended criteria, so you may need to intervene into that and you need to perform that particular decision. Now, in a way, I can say that there will be no major job cuts. But yes, people have to learn new technology. They need to upgrade themselves, upskill with a specific RPA tool. And you will find there are new jobs are coming in 2026 because they are now accelerating a lot and they are giving cloud-based enterprise solution and everything else. So probably there will be a changes in the job structure. But as such, there will be no much job cuts. Now, let's understand the development lifecycle. As we have many times seen our SDLC, it is very similar to our SDLC. So RPA development lifecycle consists of this type of level. Initially, you need to prepare a solution. You need to find which particular tool you need to use. So that is the first criteria. Later on, you need to design a solution which is looking for a specific already utilized template. Or in case if you want, you can create your own template and start recording the action. The next will be building the RPA solution. Later on, it will be a maintenance phase like testing, maintenance, which is deployment into the environment, and those robots will be getting executed either on cloud or on your local premise license. So this is how the RPA development lifecycle works. As an example of a process, as we have seen the definition, so let's understand this example. So this is completely different than your test automation. So there are three applications which you can see in front of you. Every application has a specific set of work which they need to do. And there is a SO which is received on the email, which is sales order. This will be extracted, and there will be a desktop which will be having a specific set of application to check whether the commodity or the particular product is present or not. And ERP will specifically ship the product. So this is how this particular order to cash summary works. Now, over here, there are three application and multiple processes which you can see, and there are so many human intervention points over here. So let's understand what all can be automated over here. So in 2B diagram, whatever things you are seeing in orange color boxes, these all can be automated. So start from your email, read facility to entirely to the shipment of the product, entirely all flow can be easily automated using RPA. Now, what is exactly criteria of process to fall in this particular criteria? So what makes a process a good candidate for automation? So the process which is rule-based, which is repetitive, or maybe 50% manuals or semi-automated or automated, you need to define which process you need to automate. You need to figure out a specific bucket in which it is falling. And then you need to probably think about the next eligibility criteria of automation, that is known as automation complexity. So process fitness is one of the things which we have seen in the previous slide, that how the process is fit for automation. And the next will be complexity of automation. So automation complexity is defined on various different aspects, which is how many number of screens are you automating, how many different types of application you're using. As we have seen in the example, we are using 3 application. Then what all business logic scenarios you need to automate, and what are the different types of inputs which you are going to use. So which is a test data, a user input. So if you want to run it on data driven model, then it has to use a multiple user input. So if you have clarity about this particular thing, then you can easily start with your RPA automation, and you can define which processes are eligible for automation. Now, there's something new concept which is coming in market, which is known as hyper automation. Now, what is hyper automation? So hyper automation is basically leveraging this AI skill, machine learning, and other things. Automation has started rapidly growing in a way that the robot can directly take the action on a specific transaction, which is an intelligent robot, you can call it as. So that is called hyper automation. So let's understand a small example of hyper automation. So an email is received on an Outlook that will be extracted by a robot, and a robot interacts with the ML model by saying that this particular information is extracted and validates that what exactly that information contains. So think that, imagine there is a PO, purchase order, which is received on email. The entire information is extracted and the ML model has validated that information. Now, once the ML model has validated the information, probably it was about the checking of stock, the ML model can take direct action, which is like sending a stock notice that is it there or is it not there, the product. If the confidence rate is low, then that robot may not take the action. The one which I have mentioned, attended robots, need some kind of supervision. If it is an unattended robot, it will directly take the action because they are the mature robots and they have about 50% plus criteria of decision making, and they can take the action. So this is a kind of a small example of hyper automation. Now, let's understand how the various industries are using this particular RPA. So for service industry, majoritarily it is for customer invoicing, as well as it is for probably claim processing, you can say it as, which is for insurance and other industry. For financial industry, you can say that it is majoritarily used for account settlement and auto closures, like few accounts which are orphaned account that can be closed using this RPA tools. Healthcare industry, as we have recently been through with a big pandemic. So nowadays the patient records are getting updated through RPA. It will be integrated with your insurance companies. You don't have to specifically submit your documents of what has happened in the treatment. Everything will be there. So this is the same way. Education industry is using it for majoritarily for course registration, attendance, as well as probably you can say for the class schedules and everything else. So RPA is majoritarily used for that. Manufacturing industry, they are using it for inventory management as a first preface. Apart from that, it is like customer communication as well as payment processing. Some of the governments are using it for benefit claim processing as well as for income tax processing. So which tool you should use when you need to start with RPA? So these are some of the tools which is in front of you. So Kofax, Repise, Crayon, these are some of the tools which is used in the industry right now, majoritarily in the manufacturing industry. Of course, these are not at all open source tool. You have to pay a specific license cost and acquire it. But the top industry leaders are this. So UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Pegasystems, and Blue Prism. These are some of the industry leader tools which you will see it in a different countries. So if you think about what are the different regions are using, then these are the classification of it. So if you target Middle East and Africa, so majoritarily we are using Blue Prism. And probably the second name is UiPath, which you can currently see it on the last name, but majoritarily UiPath is used. Now, let's understand what exactly Gartner Report says. So, Gartner Report says that UiPath and Automation Anywhere, along with Pegasystem, is the leader in the criteria, and they are the top industry leaders right now. They are providing the platform to you. They have a cloud-based platform, as well as they have a premise-based platform, so you can buy any of the license based on your usage and the user. Now, how exactly RPA earns the money? So that's the biggest concern, revenue earnings. So there are two things. One is you can develop a RPA solution, you can prepare a tool, and you can sell your platform to the other customer, or you can lease out, which is like a platform as a service. So the tool vendors which you have seen in the last slide, which is like UiPath, Automation Anywhere, they are doing the same thing. So they are doing platform as a service and they are earning money out of it. The second thing is, by using this particular platform, you can deliver a service to any of your client. So this is called as, RPA service industry. So you can use this particular tool and deliver it. So that is another way to earn the particular revenue. Now, in 2012, long back, the development of business process testing has started. Probably you can say the first tool was QTP, who has started this business process testing and automation. Later on in 2014, UiPath has started their new platform, and 2016 they released it. Probably it is expected that in 2022 they should reach by 4.3 million, which as a revenue earning. And this industry will grow rapidly till 2026. And you will see there are different types of jobs in the market, and you will have to learn new technologies. Clients are asking for RPA. So that's going to happen. So as I have mentioned that on the UiPath Marketplace, you will find there are so many templates which are already available. So you can either use any one of this template, or you can create your custom template. Majority people generally use the actual template which is there, because some people are evangelists, they are already using it, they are making changes, they are pushing it to the marketplace. So it's free to push for marketplace. And I have used one of this template, which is Active Directory, which is in front of you. So this template is basically going to generate a robot at the end of the day. And this particular process which we are going to automate is a HR to IT process, which is if an employee leaves the organization, the HR will circulate an email to IT department. IT department Outlook will receive the email. They'll understand which employee has left. The email extraction will happen, and it will access Exchange server. It will search for that particular account. They'll take the backup first, and then they'll delete the account. So this is how it happens. So the robot can directly take the action without any human intervention. So this is one of the particular robot which I have developed during the solution architect training. So UiPath has a variety of different templates, as you can see in front of you. So you have ServiceNow as well as different types of healthcare templates. So you can use that and you can derive your new workflow. In the same way, you have Automation Anywhere, which is again a kind of competitor tool with UiPath. And they have the similar concept. The only thing which is changing over here is they have created a bot-based development. So in case if you want any specific integration with Slack or probably with any other thing, then you can use these bots. These bots are free and you can use it. For UiPath, some of the templates are not free. You need to pay for it and you need to go pay as you go license. And you can use these integration packages through the marketplace, and you can automate your workflows the way you want. Now, as I have mentioned, something very important, that what will be the new opportunities? Many people are interested. So for the technical role, I'll say that RPA developer and RPA architect will be the role which will be there. Their roles and responsibility will be something like they need to develop the actual solution. They need to look into the actual architecture of how it is going to be executed, how the robots are going to be in the actual production environment. So that is their role. Along with this RPA developer, there will be a few more people which is required, that is support analyst and supervisor, which is a maintenance role. As I have mentioned, there are attended and non-attended robots, so someone needs to monitor them. So they will surely send you a notice, but still you need to monitor them. So support analyst and supervisor is basically required to maintain this type of robots. So a company can have maybe 100 robots in a way, you can say. So it has to be maintained. In the same way, these two roles, which is process consultant and business process analyst, which will be there, because you need to understand, as a developer, you need to understand which process you need to automate. So process consultant will be the right person who will guide you that this is the entire organizational process in which we need to automate. And basically business analyst will have a kind of documentation part in it. uh, Probably when you talk about you need to automate a specific process, again going back to the slide, which is you need to have automation complexity, and your process fitness has to be defined. So these are the two correct people, those who will be defining which process is falling in which criteria, which automation has to be semi automated, or which particular process has to be fully automated. So these are the right people. In order to design a specific user workflow, there will be RPA designer. It is completely different than the UI UX designer which we have. So this RPA designer role will be something about designing a specific technology, designing a specific template, or gathering a specific template from a marketplace. So that will be the role for RPA designer. And yes, there will be a manager who needs to manage this entire circus. So RPA manager role will be there for sure. So these are the new roles and responsibilities which you will see by 2026. And the exact user to get into this is probably the test automation people, those who are already doing test automation. They want to go on the advanced level. This is something opportunity for you. Apart from this, anyone who is working in a non-IT stakeholder background right now and they want to get into actual mainstream IT, this is something for you. Now let's understand how it can be implemented on the organizational level. So on the organizational level, the first thing you can implement is in-house RPA. Like if you want to automate your specific business process automation, you need to get a RPA tool within your organization. You need to train people with you, and then you need to develop a solution and maintain it. So that is one way which you can probably opt for. The other way, the favorite one of BBD, services. So what we can do is we can use this platform, we can find a customer, we can review their processes, we can advise them, we can have a quote with them, and then we deliver them a services by using existing tools. That is a one way of service industry, which we have previously seen in the revenue model as well. The other way is freelancers. So there are few freelancers which are there currently in the market, because as such, there are few companies which are using this specific RPA as a service right now. Majority are in-house, but services, there are very less companies. So freelancers are kind of, they'll approach you, they'll review your process, they'll give you a quote, and they'll take entire license and everything about the tool, and they will develop a specific robots for you and they'll maintain it. If you want, you can take maintenance or they'll maintain it for you. Everything would be cloud-based and things will be transparent. So these are the three different ways of consultancy. So you can earn money on these three different things. Now, if you're excited to join this industry and if you want to know how to start with this, then this is something for you. So there are 2-3 different tools which are in the top category of robotic process automation. The one which is the top industry leader is UiPath. So you need to register yourself to academy.uipath. And then after you register, there will be a learning plans on the basis of roles. So if you want to go for probably solution architect or specific designer role or developer role, you need to choose your role. And then there will be few courses. So as you see, like for RPA Developer Foundation, there will be around 16 courses within that. So 16 tablet courses you need to complete to get yourself certified on developer level. And then you'll be eligible for probably the next level. I have certified myself on developer and solution architect both. So it consists of a theory-based content along with videos. There will be an assignment. As I have mentioned, I have completed an Active Directory assignment. So you need to complete the assignment, export your robot, upload your robot to their site, and they'll evaluate and they'll send you the actual result of your assignment. Around it takes 40 to 80 hours. So the reading, it depends on human actions, but generally it takes 40 to 80 hours for each of the course to complete. In the same way, you have Automation Anywhere, which is again a competitive tool of RPA, and they have done it in a different way. So they have role-based plans, learning plans, as well as they have bot-based plan. So sorry. So what you can do is, if you want to learn only about Active Directory integration or probably Slack integration or maybe SAP integration, you can get into that, and you can only register for that tablet course. The way you have seen it in the previous slide, there were 16 courses for one particular certification. You can break it down and you can learn it on this one. This tool is having a bit difference than the one which you have seen it in the previous slide, and you will be able to do something more than the features of UiPath. So these are the two tools, and this you can use for RPA automation within your organization, or you can provide consultancy and services by using this.